night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it bluff.
Drivers, start your engines!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Vets and First Responders League live here at Phoenix Raceway. I'm joined in the booth tonight with Tommy Abear and Andy Shaner. Tommy, how you feeling tonight, bud?
I'd be feeling a lot better if Jay was here. I don't know if I can handle the play-by-play calling, but I'm going to give it my best. We wish Jay a safe trip. He's actually flying over Phoenix right now, and he sent his pick in, Devin Zimmerman, to take the victory tonight from Jay Downham.
Yeah, he did. He sent that pick into us. Hopefully he has a safe flight, like you said. I know he's missing out. He's missing tonight. He enjoys this. We all enjoy being in here. Like, as you always say, this is the greatest show. Our greatest job in iRacing is calling these races. And we all enjoy this. Andy, how you feeling tonight, bud?
Oh, I'm doing great. Dustin, Tommy, what's going on, guys? I'm excited to be here. Of course, Jay's missing because I beat him 2 weeks in a row on the picks. So he had to send in the favorite, ahead of time so nobody else could pick him. So I'm going to go ahead and get mine out of the way right this moment. So there's no questions asked. I'm going with my boy, Brian Boyd.
Good pick out there. He's running good out there tonight as we're looking at the leaderboard. Devin Zimmerman is on top of the charts here in practice with 9 minutes to go. Ethan Thompson close second. Brian Boyd is setting third right now with Andrew Bisnett and Ryan Walter rounding out the top 5. And then you also got Paul Vosberg checking in tonight, running good, running P6 right now in practice. Christopher Rawling, Brad Youngman, Robert Cochran, Tanner Lee, newcomer to iRacing. I think we've all touched on him. I think he's only been on iRacing for about 5 weeks, running good with us here in TDR. He's having fun. He is learning a lot. I think he's enjoying listening to us talk to him. But you also got Brian White, Bradley Hunt, and Chuck McDonald also just laid down a time right now. We got a good field out there tonight, boys. This is going to be a fun race. Phoenix is a fun track. We're going to go 110 laps here tonight. Any guesses on how many cautions we'll have tonight here at this lovely dog leg of a track we have?
Well, man, I'm gonna say one. I'm gonna say one, and it's either gonna be on very new tires or very old tires. Once the tires settle in here, they feel great for a while, but as they warm up and as they get worn out, it's gonna be a disaster to try to drive out there.
So Andy gave us his pick, and Brian Boyd, and Jay gave us his pick, and Devin. Tommy, who are you taking tonight?
I got to take Bisnet. I think Fuel Strategy might win this one. Outside of any, unforeseen yellows, I think Fuel Strategy is going to get it, and Andrew Bisnet's someone who's shown they can do that.
Well, with that note, you guys gave me the nice pick. I think you guys missed out on somebody. I'm going to go with Ethan Thompson tonight. He's been running hard every week. Been exciting to watch, but anybody can really take this race. This is going to be a fun race. Are you guys a dog leg taker, or you guys just want to stay on the main track at this track? As we see these guys, a lot of them ducking down on that dog leg.
Well, so you only take the dog leg early. It's the only reason you take dog leg on fresh tires are early on, like the first couple laps. It does not help you to scrub off those tires coming back up after you've got some worn out tires at all. But I'm also I'm gonna point out a few things real quick. Dustin chasing the hug here. He's chasing the hug with the fan club out there in the YouTube land with the Ethan Thompson fan club that's been showing up here regularly, chasing the hug, picking Ethan. Tommy, I'm not sure what racetrack you've ever been on, but this is a tire chewer, not a fuel race. So we'll see how that plays out.
We will see how that plays out.
As we saw while Andy was talking there, we saw two teammates getting each other, and Brad Hunt and Brian Boyd. Hopefully that doesn't come into play during the race. Hopefully they're getting out of their systems now. As we're looking at Paul Vosberg, good to see him out here. He must have a break from fighting some fires. Good to see you out here, Paul and Jessica. If you're out there watching, we always enjoy you watching and listening to you.
Yeah, a whole lot of folks chiming in on the YouTube chat. I do want to say we have at least two parents out there. Devin Zimmerman's mother and Brian Boyd's mother are both out there watching. Brian Boyd has another family member chiming in. Tyler Daniels can smell what the back is cooking. We got an Ethan Thompson fan out there. That's M. Scheibel. I'm sorry if I butchered that last name. Kelly Taylor, a clear Boyd fan. We got a hello from David Eisenhower. Man, that's a lot of stuff to read. Boyd, apparently himself. Looks like Boyd and Ethan might be in for a battle with each other based on the YouTube chat here. It's already heating up down on the YouTube.
We love that in the chat.
The door handle.
We love that in the chat. You guys have your race in chat, and we'll try to call that out as well. As we're missing Jay, our main caller. We said that at the beginning. Hopefully he's having a good flight. Can't wait to see him here next week again. But
I'm
chat's always
Tommy
fun.
took on that role. Tommy took on that role. I mean,
Not
when this
willingly.
thing started, you were the backseat driver.
I tend to still want to be the backseat driver, but when the time comes and you're called to action, you got to step up.
I think all three of us will be calling some race tonight and helping Tommy out here as we miss Jay. We'll all have some fun up here. Like we said a million times, it's the greatest job in iRacing. We love doing this for these vets and first responders. They gave us their time. We got to give them our time.
Absolutely. As the number 78 takes a left.
Are we going to see any right? Are we going to see any right turns tonight?
You know, I
Hopefully
really
no
don't.
Noah Gregsons. I don't want to see any Noah Gregsons tonight. That would be awful. Hey,
No,
real quick, we got to keep up with this chat because it is hot already.
yeah, it is.
Pie Man is back. He says they're more of a posse, not so much of a fan club, but they're there. Okay, I get that. All right, so the Ethan Thompson
Three moms.
posse is here.
There's now 3
M.
moms in the
Shy
chat.
is Ethan's mother is here. Hello,
Awesome.
Ethan's mother. Nice to have you. Love seeing everybody out here tonight. Jessica Vosberg. Hey guys, hi hubby. So happy he has this break so he could be here tonight. And we are too, Jessica.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We love having Paul out here. He's out there on the West Coast fighting those fires this time of year, and we're so happy he gets a break to come out and do what he loves to do.
Absolutely. We have just as many heroes at home as abroad.
M. Shy says, what if we ran the course backwards tonight? I think that would be interesting if iRacing allowed us to do that, run these races backwards.
So we need everyone out there on YouTube land to go ahead and write a letter to iRacing.
let's get some backwards racing going.
Yeah, see, the problem is on iRacing is the minute you start driving the wrong way, you get about 100 feet, they disqualify you and kick your car out. So, unfortunately, now if they turned the car away and went around and went in reverse, that would be a fun race to watch.
Right.
Yeah. That's the one downside of a racing simulator. They got all these rules.
Yeah.
No, chat's flying. We love seeing you guys out there. Welcome out there in YouTube land. We're coming up with 2.5 minutes of practice. Still setting about the same times we were earlier. You know, I'm excited for this race. Ryan Walter, talking to him earlier on pit road. This is one of his favorite tracks. Hopefully he can come out and race hard, and says he's fast at this track. Well, he's got a little bit to catch up, but I think he'll do it, and he'll have some fun tonight too.
Yeah, no
Guys,
major
I've been
complaints.
swerved. I've been swerved.
Yeah, I see that in chat.
I have been swerved. Shy is not Ethan's mother, so
Got me too.
Got us all.
I don't know if he swerved me or if he's just a liar. I'm not sure.
Well, sir, enjoy your 15 seconds of fame. Not saying that name again. Goodness.
Well, we're
gracious.
getting ready. Looking at this, we're under 2 minutes left in practice, and we got 3 of our picks in the top 3 right now.
Yeah, everybody looking real clean tonight. Watching my pick sitting just outside the top 3.
Yeah,
Who's your pick?
he picked Biznet.
Biznet.
So all 4 of our picks are in the top 4 right now.
I picked Biznet last week. There's no way he's going back to back and winning the booth bet.
Look, the way I see it, everyone's going to have worn out tires, but one guy's going to have more gas.
But Chuck McDonald have gas and tires. Nobody picked him. I just shut them all up. You hear that?
Yeah.
Crickets.
Mute.
Crickets.
Muted.
I was trying to figure out how to spin that into a positive.
That's what happens when Andy gets in the booth. He makes us think a little bit more.
I know it.
That's
I know
right.
it. 45 seconds to go, though. The field seems pretty set as far as what kind of times they're going to run. Looking at qualifying here. So I feel like these guys, they're smart enough on those cold tires. They're not going to come out and dump it. How bad is the tire wear, Andy? Are we talking like 20 laps, 30 laps, 50 laps?
Oh, no. You're going to start to feel it. You're going to get 10 good laps. First 2 laps are going to be a little slick. Then you'll get about 10 good laps in. So 12 to 15, you're going to start feeling it. By 20, you're going to be hoping for a caution because you're going to have a ton of gas left and no tires.
Yeah, and 2 names right there up front, Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson, both guys that can drive on some pretty loose equipment.
Yeah, the first 2, I mean, it's real slick early. So we're going to have to watch that. The guy's diving into the dog leg on the first lap or 2. I'm trying to come back up on that track. Now, here's the key. And to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you 100%, I taught this to Brian Boyd the hard way. Anybody taking that dog leg down on the inside, there is nobody that's on that track that has to give them the racing surface to come back.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. And I like that you brought up
Uh,
Boyd too. I think he's still a wild card. The kid shows a lot of speed, brings a lot of raw talent to it, but we don't know what his mannerisms are yet. How well does he drive on old tires and stuff like that? I think he's one to really watch and learn.
well, we raced together. He took the apron against me in a race, and I saw him do that, and I hugged that um, white line back to the racing surface to not give him the room. So it's on his onus is his job is to make sure he comes back to the racing surface clean. He did not. Um, we wrecked. Um, but I did tell him, I said, I don't have to give you the racing surface. He understands that now. It will be something he looks for, I guarantee.
Yeah, I'll definitely. He'll definitely be watching to make sure he's not on the receiving end of it. I'm sure.
So that's always the wild card. Taking that dog leg, but being able to come back clean to the racing surface. As we take a look at the 21, and you saw him take the dog leg when he comes back up. How much jarring
Mm-hmm.
that gives the car when you come back to the racing surface. That does nothing good for your tires.
Yeah, and we saw a lot of that
So that
last week, getting down to the infield, getting back up on that banking, how much it jars the car. It kind of shifts it up the track a little bit, right? Producing that sideways scrub as opposed to a straight lateral scrub.
exactly, and so that's going to chew off the tires more. Like I said, it's good for track position. Maybe the first 2 laps of your run, especially in a crowd, the start of the race or after a restart. Um, Good for track position. Try gain track position. I would not be sticking to that later in the run at all.
I'm just getting caught up here on the YouTube chat. It really is flying by. We got another Boyd fan out there and Tyler Daniels. The name I'm not allowed to say anymore. Brian Boyd wants to know who picked him, and I think with the YouTube chat and the broadcasters here, I think he got more picks than anyone so far.
Who's that? Brian Boyd?
Brian Boyd, I think he's at 4.
Yeah, he actually chimed in. Who picked him? And
Yeah.
Terry Lloyd lets him know that I am backing a winner tonight. I did pick him.
Yeah,
The
Robert
90 of
Cochran.
Robert Cochran. He is going for a top 10 tonight. I
Go
think he could
Navy.
do that. I'll put money on that. Not go Navy. Yes, go Navy. Beat Army. And if you're an Army person, go Army, beat Navy.
Right.
What if
My
you're
brother-in-law.
what if you're the Coast Guard?
Well, then you don't get a football team.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that was a thing. Is my brother-in-law was in the Naval Academy. I think I may have told people this before, but brother-in-law went to the Naval Academy. He's still in the. He's actually a Marine now. He's stationed in Hawaii. But us being from Philadelphia, were for 4 years while he was at the academy. We were always at the Army Navy game, and it was always go Navy, beat Army. So
I bet that's a fun game to watch. Any rivalry breeds really good football. And I often explain to people that aren't race fans, the reason racing is so good is because every team gets to compete on the same field every week.
Right.
that is
You know,
right.
it's rivalry on top of rivalry on top of rivalry. Nowhere did they put 40 football teams together to compete.
No, but the tradition and the pageantry involved in the Army Navy game. If you haven't watched it before, watch the pre-game stuff, the exchanging of prisoners, which is really so they have a couple students that do a semester at the other school. So and the game always kind of falls after that semester. So the kids that like the Navy kids that did a semester at Army, and then Army kids did it, they come back and it's like the exchanging of prisoners. They get to go back with their buddies now. So that's real neat. The walk on, all the kids that are there walk out onto the field and into their seats. I mean, it's just something to see. It's really cool.
I bet it is. I'm going to make a point to watch that when football season kicks off again this year. I bet that is probably something really good. Quick check in with Sharon O'Neill. So Jay's not even here this evening. So I'm going to give a shout out, and I'm probably going to mess this up. Is it Sister Sookie?
Sister Sookie.
Yep.
Sister Sookie. Thanks for chiming in. Thompson Drone Works mixed review on the game from Ethan over there. And Tyler Daniels, Army stands for Any Racing Makes You.
I guess it could.
Good.
If you were putting periods. I'm not sure how much racing they do on the battlefield, but.
Well, we should probably go ahead and pay these bills. We got about 4 minutes left in qualifying and a whole lot of race to talk about.
That sounds like a plan. Are we gonna, since you're calling the race tonight, Tommy, should we put Andy in charge of doing this?
Heck yeah. Let's see how Andy does.
We'll start with B&B wraps.
B&B wraps, from coffee cups to semi-truck. They'll wrap anything they can. Their vinyl wraps are absolutely phenomenal. Personally paid for them on certain race cars that we sponsor from back charities, and they make the trophy board for these guys. Every year they donate that to the winner, and this thing is cool as anything. It's so much better than just a trophy.
Very
It's
beautiful piece.
Yeah, very, very cool. Nice to take. They can hang it on their wall. Beautifully designed. I work with Jeremy every end of the season. We talk about the military branch the winner is in. He tries to make them personalized to the winner. So cool. If you guys have any wrapping needs or anything like that, hit up Jeremy at B&B Wraps. From coffee cups, remember that, from coffee cups to semi-trucks.
Everybody's got to have a good slogan. Facebook.com/B.B Racing.
There you go.
McConey
Very good.
Setup Shop.
A man that needs no introduction, and we talked about him at length last race, and he's got 4 sponsored drivers out here tonight, I believe. We got Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson, Andrew Bisnet, Brian Boyd are all McConey Setup Shop sponsored drivers. Phenomenal setups if anybody out there in the iRacing world wants to check them out. But you know what? You can get more than just setups from McConey now. He's got race gear. You're gonna get shirts and racing gloves. So for your racer out there, everybody that's watching, for your racer out there this Christmas,
Yeah, those gloves.
check out McConey's Setup Shop, because those gloves are awesome, and they'll love wearing them when they're on the sim. They're just phenomenal. So check out McConeySetupShops.com for that this holiday season for your racing man that you're out here cheering tonight. Other than that, what can you really say about Jeff? He's done so much for TDR and these veterans. It's been unbelievable. Coney Setup Shops, their setups, your victories.
Back charities.
Here, I'll take this one.
Well, since we have another back charities person in the booth tonight, I'll go ahead and hand this one over to Tommy.
I was waiting for it.
You're getting real good at my pitch, buddy. Now, back charities, BACCcharities.com. That's something that Andy and I started after this whole TDR thing took off, right? How do we make the dollars make sense? So we channel them through fundraisers at directed objectives. So do you remember the numbers, Andy? Was it 600 cards for the troops, 300 or 400 teddy bears?
700, 400, 500 teddy bears. I don't remember. There's too many numbers now.
Right, and we've been able to provide PTSD treatments to veterans in need at a discounted cost to the charity. If we can provide one for free, great. If not, that's something we really want to work towards this year. If the stellate ganglion block treatment is something you've heard about, something you want to look into, we'd love to be able to help you get it a little cheaper, even if we can't give it to you outright. BACCcharities.com. Give back with back.
And that'll round out our sponsors tonight. Good job, gentlemen. It's like you guys haven't missed a beat in the booth.
And look at that. We hit our mark and ended on time.
Perfect. As we're looking at the starting lineup now, Devin Zimmerman gets the pole with a 27.42. Ethan Thompson starting second. Starting third is Andrew Bisnet, fourth would be Brian Boyd. Starting fifth is Ryan Walter. Starting sixth is Paul Vosberg. Starting seventh is Chuck McDonald. Eighth is Christopher Rawlings. Ninth is Bradley Hunt. 10th is Robert Cochran. Brad Youngman 11th. Brian Wright 12th. And Tanner Lee rounds out the field starting in 13th.
Yep, and expect these guys to grit up quick too. Through the first 5 races of this season, these guys have been chomping at the bit for a victory. Everyone knows who the dominant names are there, who brings the most skill and most speed every week, and there's so many guys behind them that are just hungry enough to bring home that W.
And what we're going to want to look for here in these first couple laps is definitely who's taking the dog leg, who's looking at track position early. If this thing were to go green, track position is going to be huge as far as being able to get in, get out on your green flag pit stops. So track position is key here. See who takes that dog leg. Look to the inside, guys. The guys are going to start on the inside road, take the dog leg. Guys on the outside may try and squeeze them down a little bit. So let's see how that plays out as the pace car is going to get ready to roll off of pit road. Dustin, take us away.
Ethan Thompson, as I'm looking at him here on screen, he's been telling us about all these different paint jobs he's doing. I'm looking at this one. This is a pretty sweet paint job that he came out with tonight. Civil Air Patrol. He's looking good in that car, and he's going to be fast tonight. All these guys have pretty cool paints. They always come out with their, like you got Devin Zimmerman with the honeycomb grill like he always does.
No, it's called the McConey comb now.
McConey comb now. Yes, it is the McConey comb now. We got 3 Mission 22 drivers out there. Mission 22 is a big thing there in the military. We support that as well. These guys are looking sweet. Paul Vosberg has the bear on his car. Smokey the Bear. Looking forward to this race. It's going to be a fun race here at Phoenix. Championship race that NASCAR does. This is always a fun track to race. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, coming in the sunset too. So as this race goes on, that sun's going to set. The track's going to get a little bit cooler and a little bit grippier, which is going to be even worse for tires.
Right in the long run, yes, it will be.
Oh, yeah. It's a hot track that is no good on the tires. Best thing you can do is really save your stuff. You know how these guys run. They tend to run pretty clean, and that means long runs. Pace car is off. We're headed to the green. Tommy, take us down the stretch.
Ethan Thompson on the outside to Devin Zimmerman on the inside, 1 and 2, 2 dominant names in this series, looking to face off here as the green flag is about to drop. Come on, Barney. Drop that flag. And the flag is down. Ethan Thompson takes the inside early, or I'm sorry, Devin Zimmerman takes to the inside with Ethan Thompson.
We're still pacing here. There's a guy go restart. Pace car dumps off really early at this track. I forgot this is a reconfigured track here.
There's your inside line taking it low.
77 looking a little sideways. Might be a single car spin down there as Andrew Bisnet sorts out Ethan Thompson for 3rd place. 2nd place now, Devin Zimmerman, and the yellow is out, I presume, for that 77 spinning early on in the dogleg. But did you hear all the action I called under caution? I was getting it.
You were awesome under caution.
Yeah, man. I felt like everything was in slow motion. I could see all the moves being made.
He took a hard hit.
That 77 took a
lick.
And here it is. You got to be careful getting down on that leg. It's going to be slick early on. I said it would be.
Oh, he collected Brad Youngman there as well.
Yeah, and I think that collection's what drew the yellow there. Unfortunate for both drivers.
So that is Ross Chastaining himself early on.
Just threw it in a little too hard there.
Andy, you alluded to it, that getting on that apron, it's good in practice, but it's a little different in the race when you got them cold tires, and it looks like he just got down there and just snapped on him.
Yeah, it definitely didn't seem expected.
So loose. You got like I said, 2 laps. You got to warm up them tires first. Sure, you can take the apron, but you got to be careful getting down there. It's not coming up as much, but once you're on the apron, you're all right. But it's that transition because there's that bump. You're on cold tires. The tires are bumping, and that's where it seemed like Ryan lost it. Was he hit that bump and just lost the rear end there?
Yeah, even outside of cold tires, when that car's warmed up and running good, you still kind of have to, you're almost steering ahead of that transition. You're like, okay, I'm about to transition. You get your wheel kind of set for that bump, and then off you go.
He was also a little late to the transition. It kind of looked, if you can get into it early, the track is flatter.
Yes.
The more banking you get into on it and off of it is worse for your car, worse for your handling, worse for your tires. So you want to try to come on and off it at the flattest part of the track possible.
Yeah, and a very risky place. I mean, the worst case scenario of that is you end up in a situation where your car and got to go to pit road for some repairs. Risk versus reward.
Well, that was definitely risky with no reward. So.
Well, Tommy, you did say in the pre-show that we're probably going to see one caution. This is our one caution.
You know, I don't like my odds when they come out that early.
You know, Tommy jumped the gun on my, answering before I could. And I was going to say, you got these guys on the apron on lap 1.
Yes.
And there we have it.
So now we got to remember when the pace car ducks in here, we got a little bit of time before we go green.
Oh yeah, at least half a lap.
Because
we learned something.
And for those that don't understand why it's so far, they have moved the start-finish line on this track. It used to be right about where these guys are now.
Yep.
Was the start-finish line. They have moved the start-finish line now. They have to now go around what used to be turn 1 and is now turn 4.
Oh, I'm watching the lights on the track this time. Fool me once.
I'm looking for that Geico restart zone that we've been that iRacing implemented. We're in it right now.
Like
We're
the
going
one they're
green.
hitting right now is Devin Zimmerman jumps out ahead of Ethan Thompson sitting P2 on the inside. Devin Zimmerman by himself with a battle behind him. Walking up to the chalk of the track, still holding strong as Ethan Thompson looks to the inside of Andrew Bisnet for second place. Andrew fighting back on the outside, may not have the momentum coming off this corner as Ethan Thompson secures the position. They sort of single file, and we can probably expect them to ride around like this for a little while outside of a few passes here and there. A lot of racing
as I
left.
alluded to, kind of look, that apron was good for qualifying speed and things, but these guys are settled in. They are not taking the apron at this point.
That was a much more timid restart there. I think everyone learned their lesson early on. They got sorted out single file, didn't really press any issues, and now it's going to be a tire wear race.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a tire wear race. It's going to be good. We're going 110 laps around lap 6, going to lap 7 of 110, and I don't know what the fuel run is. We're going to be thinking about that for a while, but I guess it's around 40 or 50 laps. So this could get interesting as this race plays out and who saves their tires, who doesn't. I mean, Devin hopped out to that early lead. You know, it doesn't look like he's burning up too much, but he's just maintaining that lead over Ethan Thompson right now.
Well, if you watch Ethan and Devin together, they run just about a lane and a half up. You see Andrew Bisnet trying to run a little bit higher than they are, a little less scrub on the tire, a little less wear. And that happened.
Then you say he's not wearing out his tires, then he goes ahead and takes the dog leg. So.
That's all that
goes. So turn by turn, Andrew Bisnet is running a fluid strategy.
Well, Brian Boyd's right on his bumper, though. He's giving us a pressure, and, it's early in the race. We'll see what happens, how this plays out.
Well, I think taking that dog leg early on, getting that deep in there, not knowing where cautions
apply. See how Bisnet just came
apply.
back up onto the track there on the flatter part of the track, but he came in a little hot, took him a little high into the corner. So it's that strategy of trying to get to the low spot of the track, but then you got to still be able to whoa up the brakes entering the corner.
Yeah, me personally, I wouldn't even be on that dog leg unless I'm really searching for some track position or looking for some room. I think you burn the stuff up way too early, and then it makes for a much longer race as the laps tick off.
Yeah, it's tough. You see when he enters the dog leg, the sparks coming off of his car from the car bottoming out because of that bump with the transition from the banking to the flat.
Absolutely. See him running about half a lane lower than Ethan Thompson there. And then right here, to the dog leg.
You
and
see how the
he's making
car
gains.
even jars there.
Upsets the car just that little bit. Like you said, Andy, you see the sparks flying off. That's why I went to the rear chase here, or the far chase here. You can see those sparks fly.
And he's taking that and he's beating up his stuff, but he's not making any progress on catching the guys ahead of him. He's a little faster maybe in this corner, but it doesn't
not
seem
even
like the
here.
dog leg is actually helping him at all.
Well, he
Because
gets
you
them.
got to come up.
He gets an
They're holding
immediate gain.
speed. They're holding speed through the straightaway, whereas, well, yeah, that time he did get a little bit, but off this corner is where he kind of loses it.
See, I feel like he's burning it up. He makes that massive gain in the dog leg by taking the shorter way around the track, but you and I both know the shorter way is way more abusive on tires. So he might be able to get up to Ethan there, but I think Ethan ultimately is going to end up driving away from him as these gains are going to go away as the tires fall off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's going to have the tire wear for sure. As we're looking at lap 13, so now we're at the good part of the tire. Now we start to really chew them up. I guess, like I alluded to pre-race, somewhere around lap 20.
Here,
I
watch
would
how
say
rough.
Biznet is going to be begging.
Oh, then he did take the dog leg that time.
I was just going to say, watch how rough this dog leg is as we go to the gyro cam. And then sure enough, he's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't take the dog leg every lap.
Maybe he's listening to us. He's one of the ones that usually has the stream on as we're live. So maybe he's listening to us. Hey, maybe those guys up in the booth are smart.
Yeah, I mean, the ability to take the dog leg, you do get short gains from it, but you have to capitalize on those gains. So if you're starting early and burning the equipment up, like, yeah, you're catching the guy, but his tires are eventually going to outrun yours. You know, you need to use that dog leg towards the end of the run when the car's a little looser and you're trying to make that pass for points.
You know, as we're watching these three guys in the front just battle it out, you know, they're kind of just settling in, just driving. I mean, ever since Andrew stopped taking the dog leg, he's kind of caught these guys. So we'll see if he's burning up his stuff, if he burned it up early or not. But he's gaining on Ethan here, going for second place.
He's got a little bit of aero effect there, too. That's to his advantage. Honestly, I would just sit back there and ride. I mean, you got a whole pit cycle to go through. You know, you're doing good. No need to press the issue. Not at a track like this.
As Ethan's putting some pressure on Devin as well.
Now, that's a whole different story, right? For the lead, maybe I'm pressing the issue a little bit.
I'm looking through the field here as Chuck McDonald's running by himself right now. Brian Boyd's taking that dog leg yet. I'm going to go on the gyro with him for the next lap and see if he takes that dog leg. Maybe we can see that upset of the car as he's behind our leaders.
Yeah, Brian Boyd doing a good job out there, too, bringing a lot of speed like he has every week he's shown up for this series. As he comes out this corner, we'll see him go low just past the start-finish line there on that dog leg. We think.
And then now Biznet does it, too, but there it is.
He does. You see that car just flatten out and then right back up to about 15, 20 degrees there. Riding really low through the corners, too.
Brian Boyd's always one of them ones. He'll put up practices before the race for the drivers and all that. You know, he's a good team player with the Mission 22 on his car. You know, he brings people out and runs some laps with everybody, so they get used to each other. That's why we get to see these long green runs that we get to see.
Yeah, look at Tanner Lee sitting P11. He learned his lesson last week. I think he's actually getting up on the track.
Yeah, there's a broadcaster drinks as he gets into the wall.
Well, Tanner Lee was doing a great job up until that point when I jinxed him.
Good job, Tommy. Good job. Way to do it.
It looks like he just
Jay's job. So you've taken Jay's job all night. So
looks like he just came in hot out of the corner, and you know, he's learning, and that's a good thing. We like seeing Tanner out here. He's been running clean with us, and he's having fun out there, and that's all that matters.
Sorry I jinxed you, buddy. You were looking real good up until that moment.
Talking to him before or after a race, he's always positive about it. He wants to learn, and I can't wait to see the improvement as this season goes, and possibly going into next season to see what more improvement he makes and runs up front with these guys.
Yeah, last Monday we gave him a pretty good ribbon down there on pit road about his driving, and you know, he took it all on the chin and knew a lot of the advice out there. And I think you're going to see a lot of improvement out of him. I really do.
Checking out Paul Vosberg now as he's riding around in P10 right now.
The top 10, yeah.
Yep, P10. It's always good to have Paul out here joining us, and when he can, it's always good to see him out here. Brad Yuckman's running good, running P9 after that early incident with Ryan Walter. Ross Chastain running good in that United States Air Force car.
Yeah, good recovery by Brad Youngman. Very good.
Trying to figure out who the battle was up. Yeah, between two teammates. I saw this battle up in front of Robert Cochran here. Two teammates battling for position for
The
6th and
irony that
7th.
their matching paint schemes are black and blue.
You're right. But Ryan Walters recovering pretty well from that early incident as well, and he might have learned his lesson from getting down on that apron too early. Maybe he went in too hot, but he's gonna pass Brad. Try to pass Brad on the high side.
Yeah, obviously, we don't think Ryan did that intentionally. I think he just wasn't set up right. Car got out from under him because he's normally he shows a lot more skill than an early mistake like that.
So we were talking about if Andrew Bisnet was using up his stuff, as he's fallen back quite a ways from our leaders. You know, falling back about 2.3 seconds behind. Did he use up his stuff, dropping on the apron like Andy was saying?
Well, maybe he is listening and he decided we're full of crap. I'm gonna do my own thing. I mean, he's running P3. That's nothing to shake a stick at. Brian Boyd in hot pursuit, though.
Yeah, Brian Boyd is in hot pursuit, and he's got Christopher Raleigh shortly behind him as well, setting to round out the top 5. And you know, Bradley Hunt, Robert Cochran, and them, they're having a nice little battle back here, a 3-car little pack, and Robert Cochran did get in front of Bradley Hunt.
Yeah,
as
Devin
well.
Zimmerman has led all of the first 25 laps here tonight. And you mentioned fuel window earlier, and I don't think any of us asked any of the drivers. What are you thinking for fuel window? We know they need at least one. Some tracks they need 2. A little bit of smoke there on the track. Slow car down low there. Looks like Tanner Lee.
Tanner Lee again. Yeah.
But fuel window. So we're 30 to 50 laps. I'm willing to guess based on their typical fuel loads. And that's going to put us at maybe halfway, maybe 2 stops.
Yeah, probably about 2 stops here if you're looking at 30 to 50. I mean, depending on if you can save fuel, but you know, we were talking about it earlier. Tires are the big thing. Tires are a premium. I think you want to get those tires. So I think if it's anything, it's going to be 2 stops tonight. Get that fresh rubber and split it in 2. So I don't know. What are you thinking, Andy? As Brad Hunt gets in the wall.
You can actually go a lot longer than you think here at Phoenix.
Oh, can you?
So wouldn't be surprised if 60 takes it as far as fuel load, but you do not want to run 60 on the tires. So that's the question. If somebody want to push it to the halfway point with 55 laps on the tires, that'd be rough.
I think a few of these guys are capable of doing it.
So we'll have to see. If they're going to go that long, they're going to come in around 55, cut it in half.
As Brad Youngman's passed Robert Cochran for 7th place. He's running good after that early incident. He's chasing down Ryan Walter right now.
That might be a little, I need to pass you to feel better about myself going on there. You know what I mean?
Just watching Brad Youngman, he's driving good out there. He's running a smooth line. He's just tugging that yellow line. He's driving hard. You know, these guys came in for their fast sprayers, probably got some fresh rubber, even though it was only 1 or 2 laps. But 1 or 2 laps could make a difference here.
Yeah, and he's one of those names, we don't talk about him all the time, but he's always right in there, you know, that 4th to 8th positions. You know, he runs good when he's on track. I would expect to see a lot more out of him as the season progresses, and maybe in the next season, like you said, with Tanner Lee.
Oh, right. And that's nice seeing these new guys out here competing with these guys. They're learning as they go, and you know, some of these guys come in thinking that, you know, hey, I can race with these guys, and they realize, I mean, I race with Ethan Thompson most nights, and he's not a slouch driver by any means, but you learn a lot from these guys. He's taught me how to save tires, and I thank him for that every day, and that's what we are at TDR.
Brad Youngman has caught up and made it to almost the inside of Ryan Walter.
He gave him that little tap, gave him the little bump.
Well, I wonder what that was for.
Hey, buddy, I'm here. I need to go by.
Right, I could have passed you then, but that was a little bump to let you know how upset I was. Now I'm going to pass you for real.
No, I've been watching Brad Youngman.
Yeah, throwing a nice little block.
Ooh.
Oh. I don't know what Jay would say about that. All I could say was, oh.
Oh, boy.
A little aggressive there. Little aggressive.
Yeah, I think Brad Youngman's got something to prove right here.
We do have to check in with the chat again.
I can't read that fast. I tried, and I was like, no, I'm going to ignore him for a while till Andy comes back.
Tay is back. Tay is back.
I saw Tay's name.
Jay's back. Joseph Causey joining the chat tonight with a Go Devin, and Tina Miller with a Go Devin. Mr. Causey, where you at, man? We miss you on the track. Love to see you out here again.
Absolutely.
Terry Lloyd says, Puppet Master, you told me and Mom you were red tonight. Don't look red to us. No, I don't think he's red tonight.
And Brad Youngman has completed that pass on.
Jim,
event.
Jim's in the chat as well.
He did collect the wall there a little bit with that pass, but I don't think it's going to hurt him too bad here. But yeah, he completed the pass, setting P6 now and running good. He's going to try to chase down Christopher Rawling about 5 seconds behind him.
Yeah, plenty of time to get some bare on with the tires.
You know, we're setting up coming to lap 35. I mean, these guys' the tires got to be getting worn out. I mean, Devin's got a nice lead on it, but you know, who used up their stuff first? It's going to be interesting what happens. I mean, we always see the pit stops are the main thing to watch, or one of the main things to watch here with these guys. You never know if you slide through your pit box, you can do anything. You know, these green flag pit stops that are coming up will play a big factor in the race tonight.
Well, I tried to mention earlier when we opened the window on fuel strategies, what's the big equalizer, particularly in this series? The guys that are at the top of the speed charts, week in, week out, these really big, you know, the quote-unquote superstars, none of them can stop in their pit box. You know, they all throw blistering lap times. They're a zip code away, and it's like, I had to go pit again. Or I had to back up.
Right. We've seen that time and time again. I mean, Vegas is one race that I recall, and it's, you know, watching these guys race. But when you're going fast, and sometimes some of these fast guys don't practice in pit stops like some of these slower guys do. You know, they come in a little slower and stuff. I mean, practicing pit stops, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I know that it matters. You know, getting in fast but not speeding, getting in that box and getting out at a quick time. I mean, it's more or less getting in and getting out is where you make up your time. I mean, am I correct? Am I right on that, Andy?
As much as I need to pit, I have it down to a science.
Well, half the time you're upside down, you hit the tow button, don't you?
Yeah, that's not how everybody does it.
Well, I have the last few weeks. I've had some bad luck running into Andy, so I think we both had to hit our tow button.
Me and Jay talk about you during your races.
Okay, so we're talking about pit stops. Andrew Bisnett and Bradley Hunt and Ryan Walter have hit pit road at lap 38 here.
Well, they're going to try to put on 2 rounds of tires, I'm thinking.
Yep.
And see if that extra rubber pays off. And
I told you you're gonna start screaming at 20. They made it 18 more.
I need them tires.
That's almost twice as much as you thought was possible.
Well, not that I thought was possible. I said you're gonna be screaming for them at lap 20.
I didn't hear anything.
But while we got a quick lull, shout out to everybody out there tuning in tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so that you don't miss out on any of the racing action anymore from these veterans, and also all the subscriptions and all the notifications helps these guys out with getting noticed out in the YouTube land. So make sure you hit those buttons and you're all set. Check out some of the other stuff on Back Sports, the podcast. I will huge warning: it is mature audiences only. If you're not into mature audience stuff, don't check it out. If you are, check it out. And check out some of the other stuff that TDR puts on as well.
Yeah, really good stuff. They say a lot of bad words over there.
Just a couple.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's a lot of fun and it's funny. So
back at the race.
Gotta be in it.
Go ahead, Andy. Finish up. Back at the race, Christopher Rawling has caught Brian Boyd for P3.
Yeah, getting dicey.
So these guys that have pitted on lap 38, are they going to make up time or will they eventually lose time? Tommy.
Well, right now, with being back on track, they are making up time. And I guarantee, depending on how long these other guys stay out, they're going to be back on the lead lap by the time the others decide to pit. So then they will actually lap them.
Devin and Ethan have separated themselves pretty well, but looking back from 3rd through 6th, you basically have a second pack that is just outside of entering for pit cycle.
Christopher Rawlings does make the pass for P3, so he's setting P3 now and running away from Brian Boyd. And Brian Boyd looks like he may be coming into the pits as well. And he
Yeah,
is.
Christopher Rollins, a name we often mention up in the top three. I don't think he may have brought home a podium over the last 5 seasons. I don't think he's actually brought home a W with us yet. Now's as good a time as any, right?
Yeah, he's running good tonight. He's setting P3 now. He's fought his way back up from where he started. He's keeping his car clean, staying out of that early wreck, and you know, some of his, he might be saving his tires a little bit more, but we'll see what happens as Brian Boyd does hit pit road, and so he's one of the other three that, with the other three, just a little bit later, about 5 or 6 laps later, and we'll see what happens here as they're looking at lap 44 coming to lap 45.
Yeah, and Christopher Rollins has a good gap ahead and a good gap behind. Plenty of space ahead and behind to kind of run your own lap, not feel pressure by anybody.
As Chuck McDonald has kind of tracked down Brad Youngman. We don't get to talk about Chuck too often either, but he's usually a clean racer. He likes saving his stuff. We all know he's a fuel saver. I think he's won a couple races with TDR because of fuel. I think he's won an 87s race. I think Andy might have been involved in that race. He stayed out when no one else did. I mean, he's a good driver, and he fights his way up.
Yeah, good guy too. I mean, he's our Canadian service member. We thank him for his service in the Great North.
So checking out chat.
He's good.
My wife, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but checking out chat, we got Jay Downham has chimed into the chat. He wants a rundown. Tommy or Andy, you want to give him a rundown on what's going on tonight? He's got 10 minutes.
Might as well let Tommy. Every time I talk, Tommy interrupts me. Go ahead, Tommy.
Well, Jay, basically all the drivers out here are chickens. And now Jay's in an airport.
He's singing chickens.
Oh, Jay, I like to think in my mind that you were brave enough to do that for us. But no, quick 10-minute rundown. We had one caution early on between Brad Youngman and Ross Chastain. Saw a little bit of beef afterwards when they caught up to each other and Brad Youngman was able to complete the pass. That was really the only drama of tonight, outside of just a grueling track, hard on tires. We're about halfway through a pit cycle now. Christopher Rollins looking real good. Paul Vosberg looking good. Biznet fading off a little sooner than I would have expected him to. And Tanner Lee learning a lot.
Yeah, he is. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Andy. My wife came up to me and pointed it out that Jay was chiming in. I didn't want to miss him having to get back on a plane. We had to let Jay get in and.
No, that was a good catch, man. We love Jay. We miss him. We are not the play-by-play callers. He is clearly the Colton Pipes of back sports.
Jay says he can't sing. He's in Dallas. Well, you got to put a little bit of country twang in there.
Yeah, can't he just put a banjo to it and go at it? Like, what's better?
No, it's an old antiquated law not many people know about, but you can't sing in Dallas. DFW is a rough airport.
Tina Miller
flew into Austin.
Tina Miller chimes in. Devin can hook you up with a paint scheme. Yeah, Devin does make some pretty good paint schemes out there.
Dude, the McConey comb, hands down, is my favorite of the Vets paint schemes so far. I don't know what it is. That honeycomb grill just pops.
It just comes out the grill and just comes at you.
Actually, I'd take that back. Whoever ran the 911 car, the tribute car that was the 911 number, that was my favorite paint scheme.
Yeah, I can't remember who ran that, but there was a couple of them out there, the 911 tribute cars. And wasn't that last week? I don't remember who ran it.
I've seen a few, but there was one out there last week that had all the names from the people that passed and all that. And I was on the hood. I was like, man, that is a good looking paint scheme.
I don't remember who ran it. We're sorry to forget your names out there and who ran that, but that was a pretty sweet paint scheme. It's Paul Vosberg's on pit road, and so is Tanner Lee.
Yeah, I would expect we're probably gonna wrap out this pit cycle. I don't know. And Andy said if they're really good, they might try to take it to 55, but it's gonna be a nightmare to drive.
Well, Devin, Ethan, Christopher Rawlings, and Brad Youngman and Chuck McDonald are the ones that in the top 5 that have not pitted yet, and they seem like they're going around good.
Cautions out.
And that changes everything.
That changes everything. Looks like. 79 is that Brian Wright got loose. and
So
we'll see what happened here
let's
with Brian Wright.
let's see who's really good at waiver rounds.
Yeah, it looked like Brian Wright just got loose coming off the corner and collected Brian Boyd. Bad luck for Brian
Uh,
Boyd.
yeah, unfortunate, but it happens. We saw it earlier with Ryan Walter, and even though we tease him and he's gracious with the whole Ross Chastain thing, he's not a slouch of a driver. He's got some skills, and saw him make a mistake early on that caught up Brad Youngman, and now we see another mistake that caught up Brian Boyd.
You see the leaders come down pit road, and
Hey, has anybody ever been to Gapplebee's?
Yes, it's embarrassing.
as we see these guys getting 4 fresh rubbers, our 2 leaders, Ethan Thompson and Devin Zimmerman, and Devin's gonna beat him off pit road, and Christopher
Tita
Rawlings, did he
says-
stay out?
Oh,
Tita
no.
Miller says, "Let's hope for no caution," and then she says, "Oh man."
Oh man,
The viewers jinx. The viewers jinx. I've done that same thing. Been
Thinking-
at home eating a hot dog, going, okay, no caution, and then a caution.
I'm thinking Christopher Youngman and maybe or Christopher Rawlings and Brad Youngman maybe missed pit road, or maybe Christopher Rawlings missed pit road when it opened. I don't know, but he's on pit road now with lap down cars. As we see these Mission 22 cars coming down here in a fleet.
I love it. A fleet. How big does your NASCAR team have to be before your NASCAR team is a fleet? I think 4. Once you hit 4, it's a fleet of cars, right?
I know talking to them 3 drivers last week, and they wanted to get a good picture of them 3 by each other. I'm like, there might have been a couple shots in the stream you can steal.
Yeah. Yeah, they did run together a lot. Good run. I think I love it when people bring teams to these league events because the team aspect of it, it's a family within the family.
So
I love seeing it. I love seeing them help each other out.
So I would say, looking at after the pit stops, looks like Paul Vosberg and Robert Cochran are opting to take the waiver rounds, get back on that lead lap. Well, Paul Vosberg's down 2, so they're gonna get their waiver round and hope for maybe another caution or something else to happen here, and the gamble you take.
Yellow flag certainly shook things up a little bit here, and they're going to get tightened up, and that puts Ethan Thompson right in range to pounce. You got Brad Youngman lining up, Chuck McDonald, Andrew Bisnett, who we saw have a lot of speed early on. This is going to be hopefully not a crazy restart, but I feel like it's got to be a little dicey.
I think it will be a little dicey. I mean, you guys are talking about track position. It's hard to pass here. You got Ethan Thompson and Devin Zimmerman starting side by side. Brad Youngman showed speed tonight. He's up there setting in P3 right now, setting behind these guys. Chuck McDonald's been showing some speed too. He's setting their P4. And you got Andrew Bisnett setting P5. I mean, these guys are going to dice it up. And, these guys that, don't win a lot of these races, they want to compete with these guys. They're the ones with nothing to lose. They're going to gamble here. I think they're going to go for it. And it's going to be interesting here with 1 lap to go.
Yeah, and another name we didn't mention.
Tommy, since I've taken you to Applebee's before. Tyler wants to know if they have as good of burgers as Applebee's.
They're better. They're served with tears. The extra salt really kicks them off. As we go through the restart zone, Devin Zimmerman again asserting early dominance over Ethan Thompson, taking just to the inside. He's going to run the dogleg here for that advantage. That should pay off for him. No one else did. Chuck McDonald took the dogleg up to P4. That was a move,
He
boy.
sliced right in there.
Oh, that was brave. First, second, third have kind of sorted themselves as single file. Third place is the one in danger with Chuck McDonald looking inside, who's proven he's willing to take a couple risks here halfway through the race.
Looks like Brian Boyd did not check his quick repair.
Oh, Chuck McDonald again to the dogleg and almost for position here as he's on the inside. And
Gets that
completes
position.
the pass with Christopher Rawlings in tow. That is 2 back for Brad Youngman, who has fought really hard this race. Sorry to see him get sorted out that way, but Chuck McDonald on the march.
But Brad Youngman, we saw him pick up speed as the long run win. He might have that long run car and might be able to save his stuff a little bit more than some of these guys as Bisnett's not pouncing on him.
Yeah, Christopher Rawlings not far behind. Another car to watch for having long run speed. Fought his way all the way up to 3rd before that yellow during the pit cycle. Chuck McDonald on the inside
Rawlings
of
is
Andrew
really
Bisnet now, not for position. Bisnet given plenty of room, and Chuck McDonald's allowed to run.
Yeah, I don't see Biznet going down to that apron as much as he did. I bounce it back and forth on you. I know I am, guys, but they're racing all over the place here, and
Oh, you're fine. You show me the best stuff. That's what I'm here for.
you know we'll see
I
what
want to see it all.
these longer run guys that fought their way back up with these other guys pitting. You know they were moving. Chuck and Christopher Rawlings and Brad Youngman, they were moving up the field. You know, do they have something for our leaders as they got their track position? They started out close to the back, but do they have something for our leaders in the long run?
Well, it's difficult. These guys got real aggressive on that restart. They secured track position, but you burn your stuff up doing that. So I would think at this point, with these two guys showing just how cool, calm, collected they are, it's really on the guys behind to hope for a yellow or to make another pit stop, because I think you burning the stuff up that early for the track position requires you to need another cycle in order to make those gains.
Yeah, it'll be interesting with 51 to go, coming to 50 to go. If they can make it on fuel, we're pretty sure they can. Listening to Andy talk, he's the expert of the tracks here. But it'll be interesting if we get that one more caution. I mean, everybody should come in and pit and see what happens. But you know, these guys all learned something in that first run, and you know, it comes down to the point. Well, hey, I can go harder. I have to go softer. You know, I mean, you know, I look at like Brad Youngman and Christopher Rawlings and stuff. Maybe they looked at their tire wear and they're like, oh, I can go a little bit harder now, but they don't realize that, hey, that'll burn up my tires faster too. You know, I've done that in the past. I know we all have. It's like, oh, I only had 69% tire when I pitted. I can go a little bit harder.
Yeah.
The end of the race,
But
it's like, oh, I'm at 0% now. Oh boy.
as they battled those first 5 or 6 laps that we talked about consistently, due to the level of action, you notice a lot fewer drivers are on that dogleg. They've sorted out single file. They're now in conservation mode, because within 30 laps it's going to be go time, and whoever has the most stuff left over is going to be in the best position to capitalize on what they were able to save.
Yeah, the reason I was saying what I was saying is I'm looking at Christopher Rawlings. I mean, he's getting up right beside Ethan Thompson here, going for P2. You know, he could be thinking, hey, I had a lot of tire left. I need to go now, and he might have learned something. He's giving some pressure to these two guys up front, Ethan Thompson and Denver Zimmerman up front. He's giving some pressure.
Oh yeah, he was definitely all the way to the inside of Ethan Thompson through those last corners, kind of backed it up on the back stretches. We watch him come to the dogleg. We'll see if he takes it or tries to chase the air, and he will choose the air over the dogleg. I think he may have the ability to get there again. Looking inside, Ethan Thompson shuts the door, takes all the momentum away. It'll take him a lap or so to get that back together.
You know, looking shortly behind him, Brad Youngman and Andrew Bisnet looking like they're slowly chasing him down as well. And you know, like I said, these three guys that saved tires or came in early, you know, they're making out some time and having some fun.
If they learned anything, it was track position matters, and you don't see them giving up gaps like they were before.
Right. You know, Bisnet started out in top 4, and you know he kind of fell back, and I think he learned something, like Andy was saying earlier about that hitting that dog leg. We all were saying it, you know, that dog leg heat up stuff. I haven't seen Andrew jump on the dog leg at all this run. You know, these guys are trying to learn, but he is still running that higher line than most of these guys are running. A lot of these guys are getting down to that yellow line, and don't know if that eats up the tires more or not really here.
I would think running a higher line would save a little bit, but it will cost you momentum. How much drive, or not momentum, I'm sorry, but how much drive off you're getting. You'll get a little bit more momentum, a little less tire wear, but you won't have that drive off the corner like when you get the tires fully planted on the bottom banking.
These top 5 are just close to each other. They're all within a second of each other. They're running good, clean laps. This is fun to watch. I mean, the closest racing we've
almost
seen.
looks like a super speedway.
Yeah, just running in line, just going. And it's going to come down to the point where, you know, are they pushing Devin? Is he using a little bit more? Or, you know, knowing Devin, he's running that line like he always does, and whatever happens, happens is what he always says.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to phase Devin. I think he runs his race. He's naturally fast and just kind of stays out there. It's when you can get beside him. If you can get beside Devin, he'll probably give you the spot and try to chase you down. That's a lot better than wrecking out and being P17 versus P2.
As Bisnet goes on the high side around Youngman, and Christopher Rawlings goes on the high side around Ethan Thompson. I mean, they're dicing it up.
And Christopher Rollins on the march, making some good gains on Devin Zimmerman there as well, with Ethan Thompson now with a 2-car gap behind, and Bisnet closing in.
Yeah, these guys are racing hard. It's fun to watch with 43 to go here. Who in your eyes, who's using up their stuff more, Andy? Who's using up their equipment more here in this run we're having? Andy might have dipped away. Tommy.
I'm gonna guess his guess was Biznet because I picked Biznet to win.
Well, I'm looking at Christopher Rawling. He is fighting through the pack. I mean, is he using up his stuff, or are Ethan and Devin saving a little bit more? Did they, you get that information when you get on pit road. You don't get that stuff during the race, like how much tire wear you're using.
Yeah, and it's hard to say. He may have had a lot of speed here and wasn't using it. Went to go pit. Went, oh, my tires are that good. I guess I could have used a little bit more because he seems to be keeping pace pretty well. I don't see any fall off from him. If anything, he's gaining on Devin and leaving Ethan behind.
Yeah, Biznet's slowly gaining on Ethan as well, and you got Brad Youngman and Chuck McDonald slowly behind in the top six. I mean, you almost got a blanket over these guys. I mean, they're running strong, they're running heavy, and Christopher Rawlings, he's looking good tonight. He's out. He's looked good for a while, but he's running good at this track. He's having fun out there. I know he is, and we'll see if he has anything for Devin here as the time runs down. We're at 40 to go.
I know this is a W if he can pull this off. This is one he's been fighting for a long time, and I still see him making steady gains on Devin Zimmerman.
Yeah, kind of following Christopher Rawlings around or going to far chase here. I think he gains more on one and maybe two, but the last turn, it looks like that's where Devin gets him at. We'll see how this runs. We'll follow him around here.
Yeah, to the outside, a little lower on entry than Devin. And he's about a lane and a half, almost 2 full lanes lower. And Devin might have washed up a little bit there. Really scrubbed a lot of momentum off. I wouldn't say that was a regular lap for Devin.
No.
That gain was huge. See, we see him tracking about a half a lane higher here, and Devin does clearly win coming off of 4.
So it'll be interesting coming into these next couple turns if that was just a wash up or Devin is running a little bit higher in turn 1 here.
And you see big gain here, and then it kind of equalizes going into the backstretch. They'll run about the same speed down, and then Devin has the gains here on the exit. As we see Christopher Rollins kind of put his tires in those tire tracks a little more carefully and didn't really lose that much.
And that's what I would do if I was Rawlings right here is I would try to stick with Devin's line except for, obviously one here.
Yeah, kind of capitalize where you're better and match where you're not.
If I was Rawlings here, I'd be learning from this. I'm learning. Now he's trying to go a little high. He's running a different line, and there you see Devin takes that line and he pulls away, but not by much. I mean, it's a close race here, and it's going to be interesting talking to these guys afterwards on how much is Rawlings using his stuff up, or is
see lap traffic coming up here.
They're coming up on Tanner Lee here. It's going to be interesting what happens here over the next few laps. We're 36 to go. I mean, Rawlings is running hard. Ethan's battling back, and he's kind of separated himself from the other two, from Biznet and Brad Youngman, as Tanner Lee gets out of the way and slows up a little bit.
Yeah. Gives plenty of room. I noticed Tanner there he was using the dog leg, 21 laps down. Kid's still out there giving his best effort.
We talk about Tanner a lot. He's out here trying, learning from these guys. He's battling 21 laps down, but he's out there battling in every position as a position. As Robert Cochran and Bradley Hunter on pit road, don't know if they had something happen with them or were they the ones that took the waiver on? I know Cochran was one of them.
Well, I think they may have also been part of that 3-pit strategy or 2-pit strategy to get
Correct.
tires.
Yeah.
And if you're not sitting in the top 6 right now, you got to try something. You really do.
As Ethan's closed the gap back on Christopher Rawlings, see what happens here as Ethan catches the 2 leaders, and it's going to be interesting what happens here as well. Ethan runs a little bit hot.
Right there. Oof.
A little bit hot, washed up the track a little bit, kept it off the wall though. He's looking pretty good, and it's Chuck McDonald, or no, it's Brad Youngman and Biznet battling too, as well as Biznet.
Yeah, Youngman to the inside of Vander Biznet.
Yeah, there's racing all over the track here. It's like, what do you watch? You want to watch the leaders, but when they got cars side by side, you got to go for it.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 are racing. 4th and 5th are racing. 6th and 6 is coming.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking about I was bringing up the long run, and you fall too far back, it doesn't work well for you. But you know, it's interesting what's going on here. Seeing a different guy up front with Christopher Rawling. I mean, he's racing these guys hard and got these two split up, and it'll be interesting what's going on here. And I know Devin's pretty good at saving his equipment. You know, he learns a lot as he practices. So it's going to be interesting in the long run here with 32 to go on how this plays out. But I'm proud to see Christopher Rawling is what he's doing tonight. He's running good, running clean laps, battling with these guys. Proud of this guy up here racing with these guys, shaking things
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen him perform very well in a lot of races, and this has got to be one of his best performances. Running up there, he's right in between two of the guys who have both won championships in the series, both Maconi sponsored drivers, and just out there, right with them. The guy's killing it today. He's really on his A game.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's running clean laps, having fun out there. It's good seeing him running good with these guys. Can't be more proud of him as the rest of the field is just it's his hanging on. We're coming down to that 20 laps where the tires are falling off even more. It'll be interesting to see if he's pushed too hard or if the other guys were saving or what's going on here. As Ethan's still battling, trying to get around, but Devin's not pulling away like he did in the last run.
Yeah, I'm just checking in with the YouTube chat. Jay Downham, great racing. He's got to run, unfortunately, so we gave him his 10-minute update. He's off to another airport. What a life that guy lives. Travels all over the country and just gets to watch iRacing all the time. Well, I get that job.
Well, we miss him in the booth, but work calls and he's on the road, and we miss you up here, Jay. And I know you'll watch it back and listen to us talk about you too. But safe travels, bud. Hope everything goes good, and can't wait to have you in the booth back next week.
Yeah, Jay's sorely missed. We do not have the skills to do the play-by-play calling. That is not in our wheelhouse. I think we did okay.
We're doing our best. we're doing our best.
We did okay, but we didn't do Jay.
As Ethan's on the top side of Christopher Rawlings now, going for P2.
Yeah, that still puts Rawlings, even if this pass is completed, and I feel like Ethan has demonstrated he's pretty good late in the run. That still has Christopher Rawlings in a really good position for a podium finish, and that's the kind of thing a driver needs to boost that confidence going into the next races of the season.
Yeah, definitely. And, sometimes that's all it takes is even in real life racing, you get that one run that helps you out and gets your confidence up. And we'll see if Ethan Thompson can run down our leader in Devin Zimmerman.
It's a tall order, but if anybody can fill that tall order, it would be Ethan Thompson. These two guys, top of the charts every week, very fast. And I can't wait to see how this plays out. Yeah, I think Andy said it right. It's really going to come down to whose tires are more chewed up. Ethan had to race a little bit. I don't think he really pressed the issue. I think he was able to save, but Devin was sitting pretty almost the whole time.
Yeah, Devin's hitting his marks. He's running his race, but he really hasn't felt the pressure. I mean, if Ethan can get up there and rattle his cage a little bit, anything's possible in this race with 26 to go, coming to 25 to go. You never know. I mean, was Ethan playing possum and just saving his equipment a little bit more, and was Rawlings pushing Devin, and maybe Devin was driving a little bit harder than what he had to?
Yeah, very well could be. We saw Rawlings. I mean, he got right to Devin's bumper, but you and I both agreed it's really hard to phase Devin unless you can really get to his inside. I think he's been running his laps. I think there's a very good chance Ethan was playing possum back there. I think it's completely possible. He finally got around his competitor and was like, all right, now I'm going to go run for the lead.
Either way, one way or another, Ethan came out with that sweet looking paint scheme with the Maconi setup shop on the back and looking sweet like he always does. And he called out the Maconi comb and Devin Zimmerman. We've seen some pretty cool paint schemes out there. These guys are running hard. I mean, Ethan is gaining on Devin. It's going to be interesting to see if he can make the pass here.
Yeah, just a handful of laps to get it done. I think either one of these guys can bring it home. And then we always have the risk of that mysterious caution towards the end of the race. Someone slips up and catches two cars. It could change everything.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Anything's possible with that. I mean, looking through the field, you got Brad Youngman setting in fourth. Great run by him tonight. Biznett setting top 5, P5 right now. Chuck McDonald in 6 on the lead lap, the last car in the lead lap. These guys are running good. I mean, that caution came out great for those guys that were gambling and staying out. But, we're seeing some different names up front, and it's good to see. I enjoy seeing it, as Ethan has gotten to the bumper of Devin.
Oh, here it comes. And these are two of some of the classiest drivers too. You watch the amount of room they give them, the amount of respect they give each other, even though they're racing hard. Watching these two guys battle, and there's a few other names we could throw up in this mix. It's just really good to watch. The amount of racecraft they use, the amount of respect they have for each other as drivers is incredible.
Right. These guys, they're friends on and off the track. These guys talk a lot. You know, they're good teammates for Marconi Setup Shop, and they're you can't say it enough. They're like the cleanest drivers I've ever raced around, and they're helping out everybody. That's what makes it even better. You know, they want everybody to get better. I mean, we have other people in TDR that are the same way, like Adam Rickey and Ryan Shelton, which we've missed for a few weeks. Hope everything's going good out there with Ryan. Can't wait to see you back on the track. But these guys want to see everybody get better and race them hard. Don't just let them by if you see them coming, or if you're racing by them, race them hard. Don't they want they want to have fun just as much as you got. They don't want to run by themselves. They want some competition. They love seeing it.
This just in on the TDR news ticker. Tanner Lee has passed Brian Boyd for last place, or for second to last place. Tanner Lee, position through attrition, fought
Position
20 laps down, and he gained the point. Dadgummit.
gain that point. I mean, you got Bradley Hunt 21 laps down. He must have had some problems along with Ryan or Robert Cochran 21 laps down. They must have had some. They must use their fast sprays earlier and had some issues.
Tanner Lee back on track, and I think they're, what is that, 2 laps apart?
Yeah.
Go Tanner, go.
Yeah, go Tanner. We like seeing you.
Take that point from Brian. That's
Yeah.
your point.
Take all the points you can, bud. Be out there racing, have fun.
That's what it's all about. Having trouble and fighting back. That's what it's all about.
Well, and that's what we are at TDR. I mean, Chuck McDonald made that saying, position by through attrition, but that's sometimes what it takes. Get your confidence up, and it's all practice and having fun. As Robert Cochran is back on the track.
We'll be having fun on pit road later. I did do a shout out to the YouTube from the Back Sports page. Trying to get Christopher Rollins in the booth if we can. He may have a podium finish, so I'd like to be able to talk to him if that happens.
Well, right, yeah, love to talk with. It's nice talking with different drivers and seeing what they're like, and have a good conversation. I mean, great run by him tonight with 17 to go, setting P3. Brad Youngman is about 3-4 seconds behind him, so he is maybe catching him a little bit, but we'll have to see what happens here as this race plays out with 16 to go. And you got Robert Cochran there on fresh rubber, maybe a little bit of front end damage, maybe dice up these leaders a little bit, maybe cause a little havoc. You never know. Cars make races too.
Honestly, when I'm on the track, if I was in Robert Cochran's position, I would be pushing Ethan Thompson. Go get him, buddy. Go get him.
Robert Cochran chimed in at the beginning. He says he's going for a P10 tonight, top 10 tonight, and he's setting P10 right now. So I don't know if it's a win for him or not, but he's running good tonight. He had a couple little mishaps, and that happens on a racetrack, but it's good to see him out there running the race and finishing it.
Yeah, usually it runs a little better than we're seeing this evening, but sometimes it's that way.
As we talk about him, he takes the wall.
Yeah,
it's the broadcaster.
Tracks like this can be grueling. If you're not doing well, it's hard to stay committed to your line and focused on it.
Yeah,
it's a long track. It's a tough track. Your car wears out. It's a pain to drive. It's fun battling with people, but really it's driver versus track, and it's difficult.
As Ethan has fallen back a little bit, running about the same lap times, it seems like, maybe he's holding back, or maybe he used up stuff trying to get back up there. It'll be interesting here with 14 to go. No, that's just it. I mean, one thing can happen, and that's all it takes in a race. I mean, we've all watched races or been in races, and we all know how it goes, and it's entertaining.
I'm watching the gap fall off a little bit. I'm like, so is he saving for like the critical moment, or like did he burn his stuff up? Well, you never know with these names.
13 laps to go. I don't know. This might be that critical moment. You were in my ear as my crew chief one time. Now it's time to go. It's like I can't go. I used my stuff up.
That sounds like my career as a crew chief. Yep. I was supposed to tell you not to use your stuff up first.
Well, you were, but I was using it up. I believe we were in the 87s, and I'm not very good at those cars. I use up my stuff way too early, but it's always nice having that person in the ear talking to you. And these two, like,
it is.
I'm pretty sure they're talking in Discord, talking about what's going on. You never know with these two, as they always talk to each other. Having fun.
It is. As we're approaching 10 to go here, I wish I had more time to crew chief for other drivers and be the spotter and help them with the pit calls, because really I find so much joy in that. It's like your job is to go out there and drive the car. Just worry about that. I'll worry about the rest.
I will be honest. That night, and with you in my ear, it made me a little bit better driver, just because there was stuff I didn't have to worry about. It's like, hey, just hit my marks, and have fun, as we
Yeah.
say in TDR. But it was like, we have our crew chiefs in iRacing, but they don't say that. They usually say when you mess up. They don't talk to you when you're doing good.
They're cold, heartless, and often wrong.
As Devin has pushed out his lead to about 6/10 now, he's pulling away a little bit, but we do have lap traffic coming up in Paul Vosberg. We'll see how this plays out. More than likely, the gentlemen that these guys are, they'll pull out of the way and let them go. But,
you don't see lap traffic cause a lot of issues in the league unless it's one of those positions where the lap car is like, well, I have to be here because I don't have any tires, and the leader's like, well, I have to be here because it's faster.
Right. We saw 2 cautions tonight. These guys usually race clean. I mean, we've seen a little bit more cautions now in some of these longer races that these guys are doing, and stuff happens. I mean, you get some newer drivers in here that might cause some issues, but that's what's fun about racing and iRacing, is that car is easily fixed with one fast repair, and you're back on the track and compete, and that's how you learn. You got to put your car in places that it shouldn't be.
You're absolutely right, and we have to check in with our newest fan over in the YouTube chat who said, "Go Tan Man." I can only think that means Tanner Lee, which means Tanner Lee has a fan out there.
Looks like Bianca. Welcome, Bianca.
Tanner's first Back Sports official fan.
There we go. It's always good to see the fans come in and cheer for their drivers.
Now, Bianca,
friends.
you have to show up next week, because the whole thing with sports is that the more fans you have, the better you do. So you got to go get your friends to come cheer for the Tan Man.
Yep, get the Tan Man. We get the Tan Man fan club.
Mm-hmm. Put that on a T-shirt.
Oh, we might have to do that. I know somebody that can make them.
Well, we're gonna need more than one fan.
I'll join in on that fan club.
Okay, me too. That's 3. Devin Zimmerman sorting out lap traffic. Gonna be 6 to go this time by, and he's opened up quite a gap back to Ethan. Oh. Devin is well in control of this race, and I think outside of the pit cycle, he's led every lap here tonight.
Yeah, even with the pit cycle, I think he might have led that lap too, because he came down. Actually, maybe not, because was it I think it was Brad Youngman or Christopher Rowling. One of the two came in a lap later, so they might have got that lap led for a point.
And that bonus point, those points matter.
Maybe that's what he was doing. I was questioning his thought process on there, but maybe he's like, I might as well get a point. I can lead a lap here. So yeah, I think you're right. I think he's led every lap, but probably won.
Bianca has assured us that he has a huge fan club, and we need not worry.
that sounds good, Bianca. Bring him into the chat and let's hear that fan club cheer for Tanny.
Yeah, make sure you hit that hit that little bell that tells you when we go live. Don't miss it every Monday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Except for those off weeks between seasons, we are right here doing the same thing, watching our heroes at home and abroad take on some real life racetracks on the virtual iRacing service.
A great race by everybody tonight. I mean, Brian Boyd had some hard luck tonight, but it looks like he didn't get his fast repair checked. Tanner Lee had some little growing pains yet tonight, but he raced good in the beginning. He's still out there on the track having fun.
He's not last. He raced himself out of last. Don't anybody out there forget that.
Bradley Hunt, Robert Cochran, 21 laps down, had some little headaches tonight. These guys, everybody had pretty much a headache. I mean, but we're looking at 6 cars in the lead lap. Ryan Walter only 1 lap down. Paul Vosberg 3 laps down. These guys are racing hard. I mean, this has been a fun race to watch and call. And with 3 laps to go, Devin looks like he has this in control, unless we get one of them lovely debris cautions that gives us a green, white, checkered. But I don't see that happening here in iRacing, and nobody's going to throw their gloves out or a piece of trash out of their car like they have in NASCAR before. So, but
to everybody right now, write a letter to iRacing to add the throw trash out window button.
That would be awesome. I would use that every race.
Just pop a hot dog wrapper out there. Get it on somebody's grill. Let's see a yellow. We want to see some restarts.
But with 2 to go here, Devin Zimmerman coming to the white flag. I mean, great race by everybody, like I was saying. I mean, it was a fun race to watch tonight. These guys are racing hard, and You know,
Yeah.
look at Christopher Rawling. You know, we were talking about him a lot earlier. You know, he looks like he's going to secure that podium finish as long as he can secure these last lap and a half.
Yeah, he's got to be the celebrity on pit road. That's a hard fought podium there by Christopher Rollins.
Yeah, he's running great tonight. Great to see him run tonight, sitting in front of Brian Boyd, back on track, and uh, you know, he raced good tonight. Good clean race, and he raced hard. I'm thinking he used up his stuff trying to keep up with the guys, but it's good to see him out there. Good to see him up there in that podium finish with Andrew Bisnett right behind him. I mean, setting P4 and not being the tire man that we know he is, but surviving this track that eats up your tires as Devin's coming to the checkered flag. Yep, checkered flag's out.
Take it easily. Ethan Thompson second, and Christopher Rollins got quite a few seconds to go before we can check him off. But I think he's safely secured their third place against Andrew Bisnett fourth, Brian Youngman fifth on official results.
But yeah, good.
Sixth place.
Go ahead. Yep.
Sixth place, Chuck McDonald. Seventh, Ryan Walter. Eighth, Paul Vosberg. Good to see Paul out. 9, Ethan Wright. 10th, Robert Cochran doing what he said he was going to do, 20 laps down. Bradley Hunt, Tanner Lee, Brian Boyd all had some trouble early on, but a big shout out to Tanner Lee for coming back and beating somebody. That's an improvement over last week, and I want to see more improvement next week, buddy.
Well, we'll see if we have an improvement over last week as well. As Ethan, or who won the race last week, or maybe it was a different race. Somebody didn't get to do their burnouts. Looks like Devin gets to do his burnouts tonight.
Well, that may be a sore subject, but I'm going to try to bring it up as we pull in our second place for Ethan Thompson. Hey, Ethan, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, 2 weeks in a row, you didn't get to do any victory donuts. How's this one feel compared to last week?
I don't. I guess it's all right. Phoenix has never been a very good track for me, so, and it definitely showed in the first run, in my opinion, because I couldn't really keep up at all. On the long run, at least I was able to learn from it on the second run and stuck with him for the most part until towards the end where you run out of time. You got to push the car a little bit harder to at least try to make a run at it. But at that point, any chance you've had, you've just burned it up anyway, trying to get there. But like I said, it's not been historically a very good track for me. So I mean, second place is still good. It's obviously not the points day that I'd like to have, but it's still a good night.
Now, you and Christopher Rollins were up there. Now, he's a name we mentioned. We call him out a lot in the top four. He does a lot of top three running. He actually finished on the podium tonight. What was it like having him up there with you consistently? Someone you're not always side by side with.
It's good to have somebody like him up there with us that can, mix it up that, that we're seeing like that. And it'd be great if we can get even more of that, I know a lot of these guys, they ask guys like Devin, myself, Ryan Shelton, whoever it may be, and we try to help them the best we can. So hopefully that any advice that we give them, makes them even better. Not that they aren't good, as it is, but obviously they want to be faster. So hopefully that'll be the case in the long run, throughout the seasons, and then they'll be up here mixing it up with Devin and myself.
Absolutely, and we mentioned that a lot, like how helpful everyone is. The fast guys teach the slower guys, and everyone gets faster, and that's all great. You're in second place, and we do have a winner to talk to. You want to give any shout-outs to your sponsors real quick?
I'll just throw it out to McConey Setup Shop, of course, being my primary sponsor. Granted, I did change up my paint scheme a little bit, just something new, but
look good.
Thank you. And not a sponsor, but I'll still throw them out for the U.S. Civil Air Patrol, and back charities and TDR as a whole.
You got anything for Ethan before I throw him back to the wolves there, Dustin?
No, just good race tonight, bud. You look good out there. Looked like you used up your stuff at the end there, but you gave a battle, and good shout out to Christopher Rawlings on what he did and racing with them guys, and congrats on P2, and can't wait to see you next week.
All right, thanks. See you guys then.
Absolutely. Well, we got to talk to our race winner, and that would be Devin Zimmerman, who parked his car he drove it all the way to the actual victory lane on the racetrack. Devin, Tommy up in the booth, you got a read on us?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
So you led every lap but one.
Ah, it's not too bad, right?
You
For
gave a point away, Devin. That's unacceptable. No, heck of a performance, man. You look strong all night long. I know Ethan got in your mirror. How about Christopher Rollins coming in P3? What were your thoughts seeing that name behind you with a lot of speed? Someone who you don't normally run door to door with.
Nah, yeah, good speed, especially in the first, was it first 25 laps? He was real quick.
Did he make you
Um,
nervous?
I mean, yeah, he put the pressure on, and all I have to do, and all I'm focusing on at that point is just making sure I hit my marks. Um, did a couple of testing runs here earlier this past weekend, and just wanted to be ready because Phoenix, I'm not the best at, so I needed a little bit of extra practice. So I knew if I kept hitting the marks that I'd have the tires in the long run to be able to hold him off and stave off any challenges. So also it's really hard to pass here. So track position is king, and that's what I was kind of going with the going long on the fuel runs and which we actually didn't go that long, and we had a pretty good fuel, so fuel really wasn't a factor. But just wanted to go long, so I have the freshest tires at the end because you can make some moves on fresh tires. But yeah, after about 30 laps, it becomes a one track or a one lane raceway. Anywhere else you go, you're pretty much going to be super loose and wrecking. So had to fight the car at the end. I missed the entry to three a couple times at the end of the race, but for the most part, it was a very clean race. That's what I needed after last week, so I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely par for the course for Phoenix, right? I don't think anybody ever says they're good at Phoenix. I think everyone just holds on to Phoenix.
well, I like that he says he's not good at Phoenix, but he knew how to get to victory lane.
Right.
I
Hey,
did
that
not
was a
know that was
big
a thing.
that was a big thing that they put in the sim for the championship race. Where it was it back, last October, and
Oh yeah.
everybody was flipping out about it. So I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
I didn't know it was a
Every
thing.
track should have this. Every track should
Yeah,
have this.
Yeah, they should. This is pretty fun.
that is pretty
All
cool.
right.
I didn't know. I honestly didn't know it was a thing. I saw you pulling back there. I'm like, well, he's just gonna make his car disappear. And I'm like, he kept going. Where's he going?
All right. This is our fourth request of the evening. Everyone needs to write a letter to iRacing to also request this.
Yeah, help.
Yeah, bring all the
W-
victory lanes in. That'd be cool.
We had a request at the beginning of the night that they should run the race. You guys should run the race backwards. So that was one of our requests to iRacing is make it where we can race races backwards.
Oh, like
All right-handers.
right-handers.
Yeah, all right-handers.
I'm sure you could set the car up
That
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 way.
would that would make the dog leg that much more interesting.
Yeah, coming off of turn one normally, that'd be interesting.
But
I
yeah,
don't even know if it'd be viable at that
I
point.
don't think so either, but it would make it interesting. People would try it.
well, heck of a race. You hit your marks like you always do. What were you thinking pit strategy wise? So we know fuel was an issue. A couple yellows came out tire wise. It was really just about having the freshest tires at the end.
Yeah, you really had to hold on to the right side of the car. The left side of the car doesn't wear at all. So if it came down to it at the end, two tires could have been a possibility.
I
Um,
was just gonna ask that.
yeah, yeah. So if we had a late caution, then I definitely would have been considering two tires because I'm sure the other guys would have. But yeah, the right side wears really quick. There's a lot of pressure on that right side, mainly because it turns one and two. It's so flat, and you have to put so much will into it. Um, you kind of have to like almost a diamond effect in one and two to be fast. So just holding on to the right front and the right rear without letting it go too much. It's kind of the name of the game, especially with the shifting down into fourth and turn one, and then you pretty much run fourth all the way till you get back to the start finish line almost. So that helps the car turn, but it also burns the right rear. So you gotta be
Yeah.
careful there, find that balance, and be fast all at the same time. It makes Phoenix real tricky, but like I said, it was nice to come out on top. I'm not normally too great here, but
Hey, I
um,
mean,
yeah, it
you know,
worked.
you made it happen. You mastered the track that nobody's a master of. You brought it home tonight. You were better than everybody in the field, at least this evening. Heck of a comeback from last week where you had a less than desirable outcome. So, I mean, good job tonight. And I want to give you a chance because you're my favorite at doing it because you're almost as good as mine. You want to go ahead and pay your bills real quick?
Yeah, appreciate it. Honey Press on the Hood, my wife's stationery store. Check her out at www.honeypress-nc.com. Also, shout out to Maconi Setup Shop. Thanks for coming on board this season, sponsoring 4 drivers in this series. Myself, BizNet. Shelton hasn't been able to make it lately, but Ryan Shelton and Ethan Thompson. It's amazing to have them on board. They do amazing stuff. I use their setups pretty much every week just to help boost my I rating a little bit. I don't run a lot of officials, but the ones I do run, I use that Maconi setup. It's always really good. And then, of course, 100 and Anesthesia and Tank Racing. Appreciate all of them, what they do to make the iRacing world go round for me. And yeah, that's about it for this one. But yeah, I got the blue and gold car.
Maconi Comb.
Yeah, Maconi Comb car. That's my favorite paint scheme. So glad I could make it back. But yeah, it's nice to have it in victory lane again.
Well, one of my favorites too.
Your mom chimes in. Tina, that's my boy.
Yeah, thanks, Mom.
Perfect timing, Mom.
Yeah, I know she watches. We were able to fix it to where she could comment. There was some issues.
Yeah, she actually commented before we went live. It was actually pretty interesting. Oh, Devin's mom's watching.
I got a lot of people that watch every week. Some of them haven't been able to comment. Look, my mom's finally got hers working, so hopefully we get everybody else working. But yeah, I know that they watch every week, and I really appreciate it.
Hey, we love getting the families involved, and hopefully, Mrs. or Miss Devin Zimmerman's mom can tune in week over week. Because believe it or not, your son's actually pretty fast. This wasn't just like a one-off for you. He does this all the time.
Oh, she's been watching.
Yeah,
she's watched.
she just hasn't been able to chat. So glad to have you out there chatting with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Got it. Thanks to everybody who watches. I know that y'all keep it interesting and keep the chat interesting. I love going back and reading the comments after the race. It's really entertaining. So appreciate everybody watching. All the Ethan and BizNet and I know that Hunt and Boyd have a couple fans out there as well. Cochran.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate all of y'all watching.
Well, Devin, as always, thank you for the show. Congratulations on the win, and thank you for your service.
Yeah, appreciate it, fellas.
All right, we'll get Devin sorted out. I wasn't able to get Christopher Rollins dialed up on the in cars. I don't know if his helmet's too old or what, but they said no. So I want to talk to Tanner Lee. Do y'all want to talk to Tanner Lee?
Yeah, we want to talk to Tanner Lee, see if Bianca's still here to cheer him on.
Hey, Tanner, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on me, buddy? Tanner. All right, I'm gonna put him back on pit road. He needs some coaching on driver interviews when the race is over.
He might have stepped away and got out of the car a little bit. We might have to get him back later.
He's probably playing kissy face with Bianca over there.
Right.
I wanted to let him know he had a fan club.
Fusion World, I believe it's Ryan Walter. Give us a little rundown. I believe this is the updated points. Devin setting in first, Ethan second, BizNet third, Ryan Walter fourth, and Brad Hunt rounding out top 5 in points right now.
Yeah, let's bring in Paul Vosper. I just want to chat with him for a minute. We don't get to talk to him a ton. We love him when he comes out. Paul, this is Tommy at the booth. You got a read on us?
Hey, how's it going, Tommy?
Hey man, good showing tonight. You're not a driver we get to interview a lot because you're a part timer. You don't make every race. You're not always in the points contention. You do run very well, but you're not always on the podium either. A lot of the drivers we've talked to, we ask for a little bit of background on what they do. So what is it that you do for the nation?
So I work for the Forest Service for the United States Department of Agriculture. I'm an engine captain on an engine out of Lake Tahoe. I just got promoted to a captain and kind of been just hanging out, training my new guys and just trying to have some fun while at low time. Did 2 weeks in Arizona recently and then back at home right now for a little while. Then we'll see what the next couple of weeks brings.
Very cool, man. We appreciate you showing up and making the time in your busy schedule to do this. Andy always alludes to, like, you're out west and he's fighting the fires, and I'm like, I don't think we've ever had Paul in here to ask him, what it is that he's done to be here in this league. So we appreciate you sharing that with us. What's it like coming into these races and running against some of these top tier guys? How much of a struggle is it for someone who runs mid pack to try to face like an Ethan Thompson or a Devin Zimmerman?
Yeah, I mean it's fun. I like to run the Talladega and the super speedways. Those are what I like to run. And
We've
a
got
few
a
weeks ago,
Talladega race coming up.
I can't wait for it. Yeah, I mean these guys are they're top caliber. I just try to stay out of their way mostly when they're coming around and lapping me. They're good, respectful people, and everyone in this group and that races. I did pretty bad last week at I forget Nashville Fairgrounds when I crashed twice, but. These guys they all help. I practiced earlier today with, I think, Boyd and I forget the other guy, but that helped me out a lot too with this track too.
Yeah, Boyd's done a good job of setting up these practices to help everyone that's out there. And being a part timer, I know you're a busy guy. It's probably hard to get practice in too, isn't it?
Yeah, I pretty much only in the winter I can race a lot more, but in the summer it's pretty much one day I get between life and everything else going on and trying to spend time with my wife to, just the family thing.
I'll tell you, family's way more important than racing. For a guy who doesn't 1,000 laps, the 2 race dates, you do a tremendous job out there, man. You always look really clean, really respectful of some of the fast guys. Just a heck of a performance every time we see you out there.
Yeah, I actually showed my guys at my station last week when I crashed twice, and they were laughing. So, and
Well,
the
sometimes
good
those are
commentary on that.
sometimes those are the highlights of a race, though.
I was gonna say we may or may not laugh up here sometimes too. It is what it is.
We've all been there. That's the sad part.
I was telling Boyd in the practice earlier, I'm just here for the entertainment and to make the entertainment. That's it.
Oh, that's what we all do.
That's exactly your job, and you're pretty good at it. It was a very entertaining race.
Yeah, good run tonight. Love seeing you out here, bud. Thanks for being out here. Hopefully you're able to race a little bit more, and hope to see you out here a lot more, like I said.
So I was telling the guys in the booth, I'm gonna put on a special paint scheme for the Sonoma race. I grew up pretty much 20 minutes from Sonoma Raceway, so there's a track there that's pretty much gonna is going away because of the city. So we'll have a little
I
special
heard about
paint
that.
scheme.
Is that next week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Next week we're at Pocono. We're at the Tricky Triangle.
Sorry, guys. It's tricky.
Or as Tyler says, Pocono.
But no, Paul, thank you for doing what you're doing, man. Stay frosty, watch your 6. Thank you for the show, and thank you for your service.
And thank you guys for always putting this on every week. My wife actually loves to watch it.
Yeah, we love chatting with her and chat.
We don't need the thanks. It's our pleasure, really.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to get you back up with the other drivers real quick. I need to use that again. Stay frosty, watch your 6. I like that.
Stay frosty, watch your 6.
Who else we got up here? Chuck McDonald's turned his helmet off. We got Robert Cochran, Andrew Bisnet. Bisnet came in 4th. You want to get Bisnet up here?
Yeah, let's get Bisnet up here. He works hard in this league and gives these races out for these guys.
Yeah, let's see if we can get him dialed up real quick. Hey, Andy, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us? Not Andy Shaner, but Andrew Bisnet.
How's it going, guys?
This whole Andy thing, you guys are going to have to grudge match about that.
Yeah. No Andy.
How's it going?
Hey, not your best performance, but really it's been par for the course for you. You've ran up front a lot. You have so many 3rd, 4th, 5th place finishes. What was the difficulty out there for you tonight? Was it the tire wear?
Oh, it was definitely the tire wear. I found in the second half, even when I was trying to save on the tires, it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, we noticed you got a lot more conservative on that second run after the pit cycle. And during the first run, we were talking about using the dog leg. Like, he's getting gains, but he's eating the stuff up. Did you feel pretty burned up after that first run?
Yep. There came one point where I knew, and I keep telling myself, listen, just because you're running up with Zimmerman and Ethan for a few laps doesn't mean it's going to be great in the long run. And between using the dog leg and trying to keep up with them for a bit, it just tore my tires up. My tires, that when I first came in, I think like lap 36, something like that, I was down to 61% my right front, which is even worse than I expected it to be. Um, but I got lucky with the caution that fell out there. I got the lucky dog and was able to get tires and kind of on the same cycle as everyone else. So I think all things considering, I was lucky to finish where I did. Could have been worse, but try to make what you can out of the situation you're given there, and try not to make any mistakes.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. P4 is nothing to shy away from. Still looks very good points wise. The points as they sit are Devin, Ethan, yourself, Walter, and then Hunt. So you're sitting P3 in points despite having so many P4 finishes. It's almost like consistency might bring home a trophy.
Oh, well, excuse me. We'll have to see. I was looking at the schedule coming up, and there is one race I'm unfortunately gonna have to miss, and I've already missed the drop race. But
Ooh,
like getting points now is
that's
definitely
gonna
gonna help
hurt.
out.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It's there's still a lot of racing left here, so we literally an entire half of the season plus a race. So
What's the race? So you help administrate this. You talk with the vets. You kind of set up the schedule. Outside of their opinions and why you built it, what's the race you're most looking forward to coming up in the season?
you know,
Don't, don't say Pocono because that's next week.
yeah, no, it's not Pocono. I can tell you that. I don't hate Pocono. It's not. It's
I,
not Pocono. I always love the super speedway, so Talladega is always gonna be circled on my calendar. And actually, now that I'm looking at this, we may have to change that because I believe that's Labor Day weekend, and we might go away from that one. But I gotta say, I do like road courses. In Sonoma, we are going back to the layout that the Cup Series used without the carousel.
Yes, the
nice.
better,
So
the better.
yeah, I think most people are realizing that's probably better, at least for the car that we have now. So obviously outside of Talladega, I'll say Sonoma, and then Martinsville. Now Martinsville could be a
Yeah,
very long race because we're still got the vote open for the league to see which of these races in the second half is going to be raced at
yeah.
75% of its NASCAR Cup Series counterpoint laps. So that would mean, and Martinsville I know has recently been shortened to 400 laps. I'm basing it
And
off of 500 though.
I'm glad you brought that up for the
Yeah.
drivers that are still listening or listening back to this later on tomorrow. If you haven't figured it out, you can go vote. One of these races is going to be run at a longer length. Go to the Tyler Daniels Racing Facebook page. That's where all the communications happen, and you can go cast a vote under one of Andrew Bisnet's posts for which track you want to see run at a longer length.
Or they can
And
message him directly, correct, Andrew?
and
Yep, absolutely.
and I'll tell you, whichever race that is, that's the one I'm most excited for. I'm taking the
Yeah,
day off
It's gonna be tomorrow.
after that.
It's gonna be next week. Pinoco, Pocono.
yeah. I wish
Oh,
I tell you what, Pocono would be one heck of a one. So
so
I mean,
I'm gonna need.
with
I'm
the
gonna need.
races that we have, it's going to be either Sonoma, Kansas, Martinsville,
Yeah.
the Indianapolis Oval, Richmond, Talladega, or Michigan. So literally almost every type of racing that we do other than dirt. So
So
I'm
what
gonna need
what
2
track
weeks
are you looking
notice to
forward
take
to?
Tuesday off.
What
yeah,
what
take that.
track do you want to see ran at 75% in your pick, if you don't mind sharing?
I'll tell you what. I know I said Talladega and Sonoma are two races that I really do like. I think Indy, just because of the kind
I,
of track it is. I know it could be a tough track,
I
but
thought you were gonna say Sonoma, and I was about to cut this interview
I wouldn't,
off.
I wouldn't blame you. But I'll tell you what, if that's what the vote is, that's what the vote is. No, like Indianapolis. I mean, because that race, if that one wins, it's going to be um, instead of 85 laps, it'll be 120 laps. 75% of
Yeah.
the 400-mile distance. So, I know that there's unfortunately a long history of the Cup races at Indy not necessarily being the most exciting, but what is exciting there is the Indy 500. And even the road course. I mean, I know that they kind of had they had a real rough patch with the track coming up with this when the Cup cars were there, but I think anytime you can try to get a good race. You got to try to experiment with things, right? And you see NASCAR doing that a lot, and I commend them for that. And that's some of the things we try to do in here too occasionally, and not just the Vets League, but in TDR in general. You try to mix things up with some stage points and some other leagues and things like that. So, uh,
Absolutely.
so we'll see what happens. If it's Indy, cool. If it's Talladega, cool. If it's Richmond, cool. I mean, um
Hey,
I think
if
Richmond's
it's
the only one I won't be here for, but they should all be good.
if it's Talladega, very cool.
Yeah.
That'll be a long race, but
Yeah, it
that's
would.
one you might want to have the cooler and the catheters ready for that one.
Without a doubt. But Andy, we just want to thank you for helping put on the vet series, everything you've done for the country, etc., and that beautiful little taps video we now get with our intros. I think that makes it. And I think we should have not a contest, but if someone else wanted to have their taps video featured, allow it.
Yeah,
Right,
definitely.
definitely.
Well, if anybody has, and anytime any of our drivers have anything that's going on, we definitely want to focus on them. Anything to do with the military or the EMTs, firefighters, police.
Yeah,
If they have any material, if you're listening to this, and you have any material to send us, so it's what you're doing.
Yeah,
To
please.
let people see what, because, you see what's in the news, you see what's on social media, but, that's just what the algorithms show you, and not to say that they
Yeah.
aren't great things and real people that are doing it, but, what you get a lot of the stories you may not necessarily hear from the people that aren't out there in the mass media and everything. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
absolutely. I think a little bit more contribution from our military and veterans that want to contribute some of what they do, not just what we do for you guys, but what they do for further our country. I would love to see some more.
yeah, it'd be awesome. I'd love to get that on the more on the stream and have some fun with it. And we'd love to see what else you guys do out there. If you got videos or sound that you guys want to send out, bring it on. We'll put it
Hey,
out there.
I personally like funny videos of things exploding. So if you have some war grade ordnance and you brought some of that home with you and you want to blow up a trash can or something and show it to us, we would love to put that on air.
I'm sure the guys that are in the artillery would be able to help. In the
Yeah.
OD would be able to help us out with that.
Absolutely.
We're
Just,
our
just pockets full of gunpowder over
my
there.
email's gonna be flooded with stuff blowing up in it.
No, not yours. Andrew Biznet's. He signed up for
Yeah.
this.
Then that's right. He's gotta send it to me.
But no,
Right now I
Andy,
gotta find
Andy,
some stuff to go blow up.
we appreciate it. We appreciate it. We got to get you back with the drivers. They're getting a little rowdy down there. They're bouncing around channels.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get you down there real quick, and it's about time for us to say our goodbyes for the evening.
Well, you did want to talk to Tanner Lee. He did say in chat he is back. If you want to chat with him
did
quick,
he?
we can.
He gets one more chance, and then he's off.
Gets one more
interviews for a
chance. He
week.
says he's back, but I don't know how long ago that was.
We'll see. Hey Tanner, talk me up in the booth. You got to read on us?
Yeah.
Okay, you are back. Good for you. Never miss an interview again. Pro tip. Secondly, you beat somebody, buddy, and you have a fan.
Yeah, it's my mom.
So that's his mom. We had moms in the chat tonight.
A fan's a fan. Your mom's name is Bianca?
Yes.
Is she cute?
Hey, Tommy.
But no, you did really good tonight. Like, huge improvement over last week. You were very scared driving, kind of on the inside. Not being an obstacle, but like just being a slow car. Tonight, you got out there, got on track, showed a little bit of speed, and you beat somebody because you tried really hard. You tried harder than they would, and you beat them.
And he beat your friend, Brian.
I wouldn't say I tried harder than him. He just got the bad end of the stick.
Well, that's what happens in racing.
That's how it works sometimes. But see, when you had your trouble early on, if you had just quit, you never would have gotten that point.
Yep.
You stuck to it, and by golly, that point is yours now. You took a point from somebody. That is dramatic improvement.
I technically have 6 people behind me in points.
There you go.
There you go.
It's good to hear.
Little victories. But no, Tanner, we kid and we know you're cool with it and all that. But like, what did you learn over last week versus this week? Like, I'm sure some guys talked to you and helped you out. What was your takeaway from last week to help you be better this week?
Honestly, I think it was just the track.
Fair enough.
Like, this is a lot better track. That first wreck in the beginning, I had no problems going through the dog leg. There were some people that had problems.
He called somebody out.
I don't know.
Slow your roll, rookie. Don't be calling him out yet.
Yeah.
No, but it happens in that dog leg, like he's alluding to there. I'm not trying to take your words out of your mouth, Tanner, but that dog leg is tricky, and some people do have problems going through it, especially on those cold tires. And one thing leads to another.
Yeah, you saw me take those dog legs. I don't know if you were watching, but I took them flat every time.
Flat out or just flat?
like flat out full
There
acceleration.
you go. That's what I like. That's what I like to hear. Your confidence is coming up, bud, and it's good to see. And we over the last week, even in the other races I raced with you, the confidence is coming up, and it's good to see. And keep up the hard work, and we'll see you up there in the top 3 sooner or later.
Alrighty.
Or don't you think so?
I don't know about top 3. I still got to compete with Ethan Thompson, Zimmerman,
Well, that's only top 2.
Give him a season or
Biznet.
two. He'll get there.
You're doing good, bud. I'm proud. We're proud of you up here watching you
Yeah,
race
man.
over the last few weeks. We talked about you at the race tonight just because you're out there running laps and you're having fun doing it and you're learning from these guys, and I know you are because you ask a lot of
shows.
questions. It shows a lot on the track.
Yeah, this week was way different than last week.
Well, he said it. He said it well when Nashville Fairgrounds. That's a difficult track to drive.
Yeah, it is. He's like, yeah, it's just the track. This one's better. But I mean, but that's a fair evaluation too, right? How many of us like hate a certain track, but we like a certain track? Like, he's getting it. He's getting it. Tanner.
So Tanner,
we-
before we let him go, Tanner, I know you've been a little bit. You only been on iRacing a little bit. What's your favorite track to drive right now?
Talladega.
Talladega. That's everybody's answer.
We got Talladega coming up.
It's coming up.
I
You
heard
bet.
it might be extended to extra length.
Yeah.
It might be. I'm not gonna say who put in votes for it.
I'm
but
gonna.
know a couple people did.
I know two.
man.
I know
My
two
man.
people that have put votes in for that. Not you don't have to tell me. It's you
I'm
and
not allowed
Brian.
to vote.
It's you and Brian. Those are the two people that put votes in for that you're talking
Hey! You can't tell people who they voted for.
about. Well, I know Brian's good at Talladega, and Tanner likes it. I mean, who doesn't like Talladega? It's a fun race to drive, and
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
get some practice in at Pocono next week. We go to Pocono next week, the Tricky Triangle. It's a fun track to
Yeah.
drive, but it is tricky in that short shoot. So have some fun out there next week. We can't wait to talk to you then.
You'll love it. There's only. Wait, I can't do math. 75% of the turns of a normal race.
Yeah. It's only 3 turns of that track.
That sounds horrible.
It's
Sounds worse.
It's a blast.
I recommend you practice, sir.
Yeah.
But Tanner, no, in all seriousness,
Yeah.
great job. We saw a lot of improvement with you, and I know you're leaning on these guys for help. So keep leaning on them, man. You're doing better week after week. Within a season, I expect to see you up front.
I think personally it's the next gen cars for me.
They're a tricky car.
Oops, I lost Tanner Lee.
Would you kick him out?
Yeah. We got to shut this. That we are way
Yeah.
over our run time.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
Well, normally I wouldn't, but we're way over the run time.
But no, yeah, good race tonight by all these guys. Give you a final rundown on the leaderboard. We had Devin Zimmerman coming home P1, Ethan Thompson 2, Christopher Rowling P3, Andrew Bisnet P4, P5 was Chuck McDonald, sixth place was Brad Youngman. Good race by him tonight. Good run by him as well.
Heck yeah.
Ryan Walter P7, Paul Vosberg bringing it home at P8, Brian Wright coming home 9. Robert Cochran got his goal, top 10.
Yeah.
Bradley Hunt, P11. Tanner Lee comes home P12. Brian Boyd with a little bit of bad luck during the race, brings it home P13. Great race tonight, everybody, here at Phoenix. Tommy, what's your last calls on this race?
That was tremendous. That second restart, watching those top 5 dig in, kind of sort themselves out, and we see the positions as they lay. Big shout out to Christopher Rollins, Chuck McDonald, Brad Youngman. Super good performances. Brian Wright, we've seen the name a couple times, not a regular runner out here. He also finished inside the top 10 alongside Robert Cochran's goal. So big shout out to him. One last check in with the YouTube. That's way too much to read. Tommy, on behalf of Back Sports with Dustin Veldhusen, if Andy's listening, do you want to say the outro? 3, 2, 1.
See you soon.
It's a short outro, Andy. But no, we'll see everybody next week at Pocono. Have a good week, everybody.